Paul, to say the hard things out loud. You know, one, character doesn't matter in the Republican Party. It's dead. They don't care about a candidate's character. And it doesn't matter to any of them. Doesn't matter. So it renders everyone in the party who supports him a hypocrite unless they, too, liken the women they go on to have sex with to their hot daughters. I mean, that's who he is. And so unless you share that worldview, your support of him is hypocritical. I think it's also time that we stop buying into the idea that unless he broke a law, it's not conduct that he can be held accountable for. Ironically, all the laws he broke, he will not be held accountable for. There will be no trial for the Mar-a-Lago documents. There will be no trial for the crimes he committed on and around January 6th. The trial is happening in New York, but it seems every day less likely that there'll be a criminal trial in Georgia. So I wonder when we sort of look ourselves in the mirror and our leaders look themselves in the mirror and say, it's over, guys. It's up to us. Do we think this guy has the character to watch anyone's dog, let alone carry around the nuclear codes?
And that's what it's all about, is the national security piece. Because I think that's how you might be able to move the few people that are still not sure about this. It's disgusting, it's gross, it's shameful, but it's a national security issue. We're not just talking about a political story. We're talking about the person who wants to be commander-in-chief, who wants to command our military. And if you're a Republican, independent, Democrat, I don't care. Your daughter might be in that military, and this will be her boss. This will be the person deciding the tone for the entire military. This will be the person deciding the Uniform Code of Military Justice. We talk about conduct unbecoming of an officer. This is all conduct unbecoming of every single person in the military, and especially for the commander-in-chief. And it also sets the brand for our country. So this is how every single man and woman in uniform around the globe, in dozens of countries.
Can you enlist if a civil proceeding has found you liable for sexual assault?
I don't know. It's a great question. But you shouldn't be allowed to, right? I mean, anybody who was a private wanting to sign up would be disqualified. I think that's an important clarifier, right? If you're still not sure, is this the guy you want with his finger on the new codes? Is this the guy you want commanding your daughter in uniform? That's ultimately what I think has to be clarified and emphasized, because sometimes it washes over people. It's politics. They're used to this. But if you really boil it down and say, how are you going to feel if he's your daughter's boss? How does that make you feel? I think that might move some people.
That those of us in the media and pollsters might have missed. I think 2024 is going to be about a hidden male vote for not criminalizing abortion. I think we, and again, I won't put this on the pollsters or the voters. I think in the media we have a hard time sussing out where men come down on the issue. But I think the margins in Kansas and North Carolina and Ohio on both abortion and the anti-democratic measure in Ohio, you see support across the board. I mean, there's a gender difference sometimes in the exits because you're getting all the Republican women as well. But there's a whole lot of men that do not want to live in a country where their daughters and wives and mothers go to jail if they make a choice about their pregnancies.
I think that's right. I mean, I think we've talked for months now about a couple thousand largely independent, unaffiliated voters in key swing states that have to be moved. And I think a lot of them are white men, right? They're in my age demographic. Many of them are veterans. And I think it's smart to try to appeal to them on these issues, but also on values. And that's the battle that Biden's going to be in with over this with Trump. And it's also, you know, some of them don't like either one. So you got to try to get to like who's less bad. And I think Trump is playing this card because he has to. I mean, it's about keeping it simple. He doesn't have facts. He doesn't have science. So go to your heart. Let's permanently be skeptical about everything, right? He can't say, hey, read the transcripts or go look at the testimony. People aren't going to do that. He's talking about low information voters. So he's going to their gut. He's going to their fear. He's going to their heart. And that's the most effective thing for him to do. It's also all he's got left. But if he can move those couple thousand people who don't feel great about Biden, while you've got Kennedy kind of echoing the same sort of permanent skepticism, I think that's the danger ground and the battleground where this whole election sits.
If you can get over the dead worm in his brain, according to him. People are still telling jokes about Biden's age. Really?
Brainworms. I did not have that on my bingo card for this election year. It's scary and it's crazy. But what I'm more worried about than the worms in his brain is the ideas in his brain. And what's coming out of his head consistently. And one piece that I think is necessary is he needs all this examination because he's not even an independent. Let's start with that. As someone who hosts a show called Independent Americans, we've been covering this for months. He was a Democrat last year. So this is all a big ruse and an opportunistic move by him. But he's also a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. And he's a vaccine denier. And he supports Putin. I mean, the stuff coming out of his brain is very dangerous. And it's not independent. It's extreme. And it's not appealing to most independents. independents, which I think is important here. Like, independents want an alternative to Trump and Biden, but they don't want him. That's why he's consistently polling so low. But he is polling significantly enough in some key swing states that he could tip this election one way or the other. I think ultimately he will hurt Trump more than he will hurt Biden, but he is a definite player that requires much more examination of everything he says and everything coming out of his mouth.
Well, and this is very Trumpy, right? I mean, the lies and the
Well, and I'm going to say, did he lie? It's an omission. He didn't disclose this until we went to him. These were undisclosed health issues until I came upon this deposition.
Yeah, but I think two things are happening here. One, the swarm is kind of gathering, and the message from the king, from Trump, is attack. Attack everything, right? Attack the military, attack the courts, attack each other, right? And that's the message and the campaign kind of coming together. And then there's another piece. All of them jockeying for his attention because they actually think they might be his VP, right? So they're all pruning. They're all trying
Kristi Noem's dead.
Kristi Noem is a great example, right? She says Trump broke politics. They're all trying to out-Trump each other so that they can be in his favor, either for a VP candidacy or for whatever comes afterward if he wins. So I think that's kind of transparent here, and that's what the new normal is going to be for the next couple of months.
I love all of your clarity.